Hello there everyone, my name's Identity and welcome to another weapons reaction. This is where we'll take a look at a weapon and see if it needs a nerf, a buff, or can we just put it right into the game. Now, whoever made this weapon, I don't know exactly, must play heavy and has a really good idea on what he wanted to do. Let's see what the heck I'm talking about. The Sub-Sandvich. This is a shotgun weapon, but it can also, as you can see, heal. Let's take a look at this weapon and see what it can do. Nom. Nom, 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 nom. Looking at this weapon, from middle to up close range, you can do as little as 30 damage with a high as 50 damage. So whatever kind of minigun you're using, this shotgun will never outdamage your minigun. But then again, shotguns aren't really supposed to do that. I can say, however, that this gun has quite the damage penalty, yet surprisingly with its upsize, the damage penalty is not very noticeable. You'll see why. This is the kind of thing that can make this gun really shine. Say you turn a corner and accidentally, oh look, there was a sentry there. You weren't able to destroy the sentry with your minigun because you took too much damage too quickly. Bullets hurt and rockets will knock you back. Now, say you've managed to actually get away from the sentry and it didn't kill you in 2 seconds. If you do, chances are that the engineer is going to grab his secondary weapon, a little pistol, and try to shoot you. 9 times out of 10, this can kill a player. Heavies are usually that 1% that get away, but even so, this can leave a heavy pretty damn injured. Especially considering that pistol gets quite the distance. It can get quite the damage off, even with a small distance. This weapon can at least, it won't help immensely, but it will scare off the engineer, because even though you're doing little pegs of damage, you're still gaining health. Essentially, what this will do for the engineer is that he will be fighting a heavy with only 100 health, but it'll feel like he's fighting a heavy with 150 health. That's the kind of tankness that this shotgun can give. It makes the heavy what he's supposed to be, more of a tank, but instead of a defensive, he is much more of an offensive team. This is a gun for the red heavies. This is also one other detail that I do heavily like about it. It's not going to help you immensely. This gun's healing factors lie only in the shotgun, so you can't pull out your minigun and be cheap. Note, when you have a shotgun, there are going to be 3 classes that you will primarily get into a fight with it. A pyro, a soldier, and an engineer. These classes, when they're not using other weapons, will very much so have a shotgun on them. Engineers are most likely. And this is the type of things that you're going to really get yourself into. Fighting people with other shotguns. Assuming that all 3 of these classes take on stock, you're most likely going to be out-damaged. Considering this thing can only do a maximum of about 54 damage, and that's directly close, so chances are all the pellets are hitting. That's quite the damage fault. However, I can say that this healing definitely makes it a lot more worth it. Every pellet makes you heal more, so make sure you get your shots in. As we can see, unlike most healing items, the heavy stays on fire. One thing I would actually like to see added into the game, or at least with this weapon, is that instead of healing, if he's set on fire, hit with a Girardi or bleeding, how about the next shot cancels that kind of effect? Wouldn't that be a pretty interesting dilemma? For once, something that can be cancelled. Let's face it, a lot of times people are getting sick of these weapons. We need something to cancel out Girardi, bleeding, and being set on fire, because there's not enough water for this crap, and let's face it, everyone's sick of dying to a dead pyro. Now this is the type of dilemma that really gave me an interest in this weapon. The random crits is that the weapon heals due to damage, making this thing getting a random crit is critical. But this made me wonder something. What if you had a minigun with no random crits? For most people who don't know where I'm going with this, random crits aren't just exactly random. There is a factor in which you can stock up on these things, and that's by doing damage. Here's the fun fact though, and why you'll notice certain classes can get more random crits than not. Engineers and medics have a pretty easy time getting a random crit. And no, it's not just that they have to do less. But here's the thing, sentries cannot get random crits. The missiles can't, and the bullets can't. They stay simple. That's the benefit. Because when the engineer is stocking up on damage points with his sentry, that can either make his melee or his gun have a better chance of getting a random crit. So with that, it's pretty easy to do that kind of thing. But it makes me wonder, what if the heavy was given a weapon that could possibly do more damage but no random crits? That would make this gun shine a lot, as heavy could ooze out bullets after bullets, dealing massive amounts of damage to people, only to pull out the shotgun that heals no less, and whip out about 3 random crits. As soon as you start hitting random crits, rev up and lay waste to the opponents. For the sake of comedy, can we have him saying nom, 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 nom? Can that please be his dialogue when he's taunting with this weapon out? Again, 40% less damage is gonna be critical. But for doing less damage, you get more health. At first, this looks pretty unfair. But let's say these heavies are both at 200 HP, missing a fair amount. While the heavy did more damage to the soldier, this heavy has now more HP, 53 more. Which means in the time that it'll take him to shoot again, and say that this soldier shoots a rocket, which will do another 100 HP. This heavy will be able to take 3 more rockets, while this one cannot. That's the math you really gotta think about with this weapon. This is the part I love about this gun. Another buff that I'm not sure if it should stay or go. The bullet spread is a lot smaller, which actually does make sense for this weapon. The design of it clearly shows it to be much smaller, although I wonder if that means it has a heavier damage fall off, being that it will do less damage further away. That would make sense, and it would make the weapon a bit more balanced. Alright, time for final judgment. What can I say about this weapon? It's pretty damn fun. It's a good weapon, looks nice, and overall doesn't need many tweaks to it. The healing aspect is critical. This is the type of weapon for an old heavy player that's going to look at the scoreboard and say, there's no medic. Heavies are not made to rely on health packs. The medium and small health packs are the things heavy has to work with. Heavies aren't really allowed to take large health packs, as soldiers, pyros, demos, and other medics rely on them much more. Especially when the heavy can get a Sandvich or the Locust bar, which, when dropped, is the equivalent of a medium for the Sandvich, and the Locust bar is a small. Out of all the types of health packs, heavies take small health packs the most. They can get much more of a use out of them, simply just eat the Sandvich and then grab the health pack. You get a second Sandvich from just one health pack. This weapon, however, changes that idea immensely. While heavies will probably still never grab a large health pack, they don't need it now. They can survive on medium to small. This is the type of weapon that can really help only a professional heavy player. Only the mains are going to thrive from this weapon. People who are just trying to be heavy because they think it's OP aren't going to do so well, but then again, there's never been a weapon that's allowed them to. This weapon can be good. I don't know if it needs any nerfs. However, one thing I would be interested in, if we gave it less clips, as we can see, it has 6. Now I can only figure that's to help it compete with stock. But I wonder, if we lowered the damage penalty and gave it less shots, would it be more OP or less? I'm not too sure about this weapon, but I would hecka love to see something like it in the new games. Well, that's all I've got to say about the weapon for now. My name's Identity. Let me know what you think about this weapon, and let me know if you want to see any more weapons in the comment section down below. Have a good one, everybody.